This interview is brought to you by our sponsor, the Last Stop Roasting Company, a small batch roasting company located in Livingston, California. What is going on, Marissa, the fight culture today? I'm joined by a current undefeated prospect in his professional boxing career, 5-0, two of those by way of knockout. Braulio Ceja Navarro, how are you doing?
I'm doing real good, just on the road right now, going back to the Bay Area, coming back from El Centro, just finished camp and feeling ready for Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday night, a big show, co-promoted by G1 Promotions and Lions Den Boxing Promotions. I know you're very familiar with Lions Den Boxing. I mean, you've had almost your entire pro career with them, correct?
Yeah, so my entire pro career, I've been training with the Lions Den Boxing Gym. They've been helping manage me, helping promote me, fighting on their shows.
That's awesome. So, but Saturday night, we're taking on a man by the name of Brandon Sandoval, I believe. Can you tell us what we know about him going into Saturday night?
Uh, I mean, Everybody who steps into the ring is a tough guy. Everybody who steps into the ring has a lot of courage. So I know for sure he's coming to fight. He's coming to try and win. He's coming to take my head off. But that's why I train so hard to make sure that doesn't happen. We looked into him, watched some film, and we're more than confident that we're gonna go in there, put on a show, and stop this guy, get him out of there.
Before we get to Saturday night, obviously you have an awesome story. I mean, looking back at your Instagram, you've been training for quite a while. I mean, since you were little. But I believe I caught one of your fights. I believe it was in Oakland, and I recall it might have been your last fight, but you were using that 1-2 straight down the pipe like crazy. And I remember you caught your opponent clean, I believe with the left hook. And
Mhm.
I was like, dang, this guy really, sticking to the basics, and you knew how to utilize it to your advantage. So tell us a little bit about how you would describe yourself as a fighter.
Uh, I I would describe myself as a fighter as somebody who can really adapt on the fly. So, for example, this last fight, um, I ended up fighting an opponent who was two weight classes above me. I'm really a 130 pounder, but I took the fight at 140 to just fight. Part of the early stages of my career is being extremely active. So I went in there and I adapted to a guy who was bigger than me. The first two rounds, we did have some difficulty with the size of my opponent and his strength. But then going into that third and fourth round, I was able to adjust on the fly. And like you were saying, that left hook put him down. So, yeah, I would describe myself as a fighter who's just really able to adapt to whatever's in front of me. If I need to fight, I can fight. If I need to box, I can box. There's moments where I'm gonna be slick, and there's moments where I can get in there and get down and dirty. But more than anything, I'm a fighter who is gonna be entertaining for everybody in the crowd, not just in the ring, but also outside the ring. I love to interact with the fans. Um, do interviews like this. I let people know what my daily life is like, what it's like at camp. Um, yeah, that's how I would describe myself.
You touched a little bit about being an active fighter. I mean, I believe if you win this fight on Saturday night, you would be 6-0 in your pro career in just under a year, literally days,
Mhm.
under that year. What motivates you to be such an active fighter? I mean, some guys out here, especially at the top, can barely get one fight in during the year, but you're over here with possibly 6 wins under your belt in your pro career in just under a year. What inspires you to be that active?
I mean, for me, in the amateurs, you could fight every weekend, and that was always my goal: get as many fights as possible, get as much experience as possible. And but more than anything, I would just say it's my work ethic. Downtime, being an active, it's really not good for a fighter. The more that I'm in camp, the more that I'm sparring, the more that I'm fighting, I feel like the better. As long as I'm healthy, I want to be in the gym. I want to be bettering myself, bettering my craft, and just continue to work hard because these fights right now, they're going to be layers and layers and layers that one day when I come in front of an opponent that can fight on the same level, that's where it's really going to show. That's where all the hard work is going to come out and reveal itself. So more than anything, I'm just preparing myself for that day where my opportunity comes. Of course, every one of these fights, I'm taking them extremely seriously. Every opponent is dangerous, but I'm definitely just thinking to the future. I want to be a world champion one day. I want to achieve a lot. So in order to do that, I have to work hard.
Absolutely. So take us into camp. It looked like you had a really good camp leading up to this fight. Walk us through what your average day looked like these past few weeks.
So this camp has been about 8 9 week camp. The first half of my camp I did up in the Bay Area in Lions Den, um, with my coach Danilo. And yeah, just every day waking up early, get into the gym, and it's 2 sessions a day. We get in there, we do our boxing workout, but I also go and do my strength and conditioning at the regular gym, swimming, sprinting, lifting, just doing all of the above. And during my time down here in El Centro with my coach Joe, we're also in the gym twice a day. But not only that, outside of the gym, we're also, watching tape. We're studying fighters, studying my opponent, just continuing to learn. In the mornings, come in, do that boxing workout. If I have sparring in the afternoon, that's what we'll do. I recently got sparring with Lenal Lopez to close out this camp. And thankfully, this past week, I've had the opportunity to go train with Andy Ruiz at his personal gym at his home. So that's been the last week. So every morning we're going up there and just, yeah, just trying to put myself in the right rooms around the right people to help better me, better my craft, and just consistently working um, all day, every day on just getting better and better and better.
Yeah, and I have to say, I mean, I interview a ton of fighters. I've been doing this for quite a little bit, and I admire your mentality and the way you carry yourself. I can already tell you have a you have a good head on your shoulders, and
Thank
I can feel that you already have the mental aspect of the game locked in already. Let's talk to Coach for a second, um, and I really want to ask Coach, how would you describe Braulio as a fighter?
Braulio is an evolving fighter. So he's not the same fighter he was when I first met him at 17. He's constantly evolving. Every camp he's getting better. He's learning, but not only learning, but he's understanding. So like I could teach him something and it won't click on the first day. It won't click on the first try. So I describe Braulio as a fighter who's constantly evolving because he's learning all the layers of the game. In boxing, there's three ranges. So he might be really comfortable on the outside one day, and I'm like, hey, dude, we got to work more on the inside. And one day he might be comfortable on the inside, and I'm like, hey, dude, you got to focus on the outside. Like every situation that we put in ourselves in is like a Rubik's cube. So my goal is to put Braulio in front of so many different situations and get him being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So he's an evolving fighter. I mean, at his nature, he's always been a tough guy. He's always been a hard worker. When I first met him, he told me, I like getting hit. And I'm like, dude, you're no. Like, okay, that's cool that you're tough, but we don't want to get hit. So I started teaching him more of the sweet science. I started teaching him how to hit and not get hit. So I took what he was already good at, banging and coming forward and being a tough guy, and I started teaching him more how to box, hit and not get hit. This is how you swim without getting wet. And then he became so in love with boxing that he didn't want to bang no more. And I'm like, yo, man, we got to go back to what you know how to do. So every camp he's evolving, and that's making him an overall better fighter. So I could describe Braulio as a fighter who works hard. He's a student of the sport. He's still very young. He's 20 years old. Um, he did have an extensive amateur background, and he did fight 5 or 6 elite tournaments, which is 18 to 40 years old. He beat some top guys in the country, and that's all I wanted him to do. I wanted him to go out there and fight elite before going pro, and he did that for me. So now in the pro rankings, I just try to put him in a lot of different scenarios in camp. I put him in there to spar with Olympians. He sparred with former world champions. I mean, he's just a guy who's constantly evolving, and he's a student of the sport, and he's getting better every time. So if you liked the performance last time, you're gonna love this performance even more. Braulio is a very good student. He's a hard worker. Somebody who wants to learn. He's hungry. He's a hungry fighter. So he's sharpening his skills and he's becoming more well-rounded every day. And I think that's just the main thing. You know, we're all students of the sport. So as long as we realize we can learn from a baby and that we don't know everything and that we want to learn every day, we're going to keep getting better. And I could describe Braulio as a guy who wants to get better every day. He has a very strong work ethic. And I'm excited to watch him grow every day. You know, he's one of the guys that gets me excited to go to the gym because I know he's ready to work.
Man, that's rare. So it's awesome to hear that you have a prized possession on your hands. So in about 5 years, knowing the sport the way you do, seeing it the way you do, you know, knowing the nature of the sport right now and where it's at, where can you see him in 2-3 years?
In 2-3 years, he'll be a prospect looking to be a contender. There's no doubt that Braulio is going to be a top guy in the sport because he's been around it long enough to understand what it entails. But we're still new to the pros. You know, we're still learning how to fight in the pros. You know, right now he's fighting 4 rounders. I believe he's ready for 6 rounders. Once we get to the 6 rounders, the opposition's going to step up. So we're going to have to, you know, take our time right there, moving him correctly and putting him in front of the right opponents to continue to develop. And, you know, in 2-3 years from now, I definitely see him fighting 8 rounders, 10 rounders, making his name and climbing up the rankings and choosing the sanctioning body where he wants to go and eventually compete for a world title.
Absolutely. I'd have to agree. Definitely would have to agree with that one. Again, just seeing the way he's grown in the ring, sticking to the basics truly, but then you can tell that natural instinct of coming forward comes out once he gets real comfortable in there. And you've done an amazing job. So shout out to you, Coach.
I think it takes I think they say it takes a village to raise a champion. I'm very blessed to have a lot of peers and top coaches around me in my circle who I can call and speak to on the phone and pick their brains. And, you know, being with the world champion all this week, Andy Reese, and just the network of people that we have, they're constantly throwing ideas at me and I'm constantly bouncing ideas off them. And it helps me um, develop Braulio and all my other fighters because truthfully, I, I I can't say I know everything, so I'm always constantly searching for information, and I have a really strong group of peers in the sport, other coaches who have helped me continue to develop my game, and then I pass it down to Braulio, and it's paying off right now, man. I'm just excited for fight day. Fight week is one of those situations where you just straight or left Pasadena. Yeah, it's like we were ready yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's the waiting game.
Right.
It's the waiting game. So that waiting game is an art in itself. Once we get to that scale on Friday, it feels like all right, it's time, it's game time.
Yes, absolutely. Braulio, we'll go back to you and we'll close this out here with one last question. But for those who aren't too sure of the name Braulio Ceja, give us an idea of what we're going to see as you step into that ring on Saturday night.
For anybody who doesn't know me, Braulio Ceja. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm 20 years old, 5-0, God willing, soon to be 6-0 this Saturday in Oakland at the Marriott. Every time I step into the ring, it's a show, it's a beatdown. I go in there to entertain. Um, I'm a skilled fighter. I'm an entertaining fighter. I'm willing to get down and dirty. I'm willing to box. I'm strong. I'm fast. And I'm smarter than everybody I get in there with. Not everybody, but, we're working on it. But, yeah, I'm a fighter that you want to watch now so that in the future you can say, you know what, I supported him from the beginning. And, yeah, I'm going to be one of the best.
Absolutely. Hop on the train now, looking to go 6-0 in his professional career. I'm excited to see it. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
You guys can follow me at Braulio Ceja Navarro on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. I'm on all those platforms, putting out as much content as possible, just trying to entertain the fans.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Coach, you as well. I appreciate it. And you guys get home safe, get to the base safe, excuse me. And we'll see you guys on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon.